Hello. Hi.
hmm
How
How
you
are you?
doing, man? Good, good.
I'm
Ni-
okay.
Nice to meet you. My name is Tauan.
Yeah, I saw. My name is João.
Hi, João. Nice to meet you, man.
Mhm.
How's
You are
everything?
Brazilian as well, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm from Brazil
Okay,
as well.
just just to be sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So maybe sometimes I maybe forgot some words, so you can help me out.
I can say the same.
Yeah, yeah. It happens, right?
Any thought about the question? It's so wide.
Oh, yes. Let's go to the question. So let me get here. Yeah, I thought about that. Um,
I don't know if it's the
you want?
same question. I know I have
Yeah.
to ask you. I don't know
Yeah,
if it's
yeah,
the
no, yeah,
same.
you can start. You ask me, then I think it's the same question, and
Okay.
I can try to figure out how to do a proper answer.
Okay. What was the toughest and most honest conversation you've had with yourself, and what did you say?
Yeah, and it's quite specific and tough question. So I was thinking about that when I received the question a bit, but
Mm,
I try to not have something prepared. Like I mean, I like to prepare for a meeting or for something, but
mhm,
in this case, or I prefer just to have like a way of thought, and then I
mhm.
prefer to let
I
the
don't
things
like
happen.
scripts
Yeah,
as
I
well.
I don't like to have a script. I hate it. First of all, I think I didn't have only one tough and honest conversation with myself. I think I can talk about the first time that that marked my life. When I was like 18, I finished school, right? So, but at that time, my life was like a bit confused, right? I had some familiar problems. I was living at that time with my grandma. Um, Actually, I lived with her for a long time. My dad and my mom, they were not in a good situation, health situation, and financial situation. So my grandma was providing everything to me. So she's like the most blessed person I've ever known.
She's an
So
angel.
yeah, man, she's an angel. I cannot even talk too much because I'll start
Mhm,
crying probably. At some point, I had this turnaround, like this turning point, when I started to feel the pressure of the life, right? Because I had to to be successful in the entrance exam. So
mhm.
I had to go to a public university. Otherwise, my grandma wouldn't have funds to pay for my graduation course.
Mhm.
And at that time, I started to feel this pressure, right? So I started to feel like the life is a bit more. So it was a kind of complicated moment. I started
Mhm.
to feel very um, depressive, and I started to have like panic attacks.
Mm.
And man, I felt like it was the worst time I've had in my life. So I don't know. It's a process, right? But at least for 3 months, I was very, very, very bad. Like I couldn't feel like pleasure in anything. I was
Mhm.
not comfortable anywhere. I would start crying for no reason, and I feel like I believe in a superior power. I felt like it was something connected as well. So I started to think about that, and it's a moment where the problem is when you are in the middle of the hurricane, you cannot understand much what is happening. So I
Mhm.
had to do some thinking, and I had to try to stop. Okay, let me stop. A few steps back, right? Let me try to understand what is happening. And then my mom at the time came, my dad, and they tried to help. I had also help from my friends that helped me a lot. So I started to visit a psychologist to try to understand the process. And I stayed
Mm-hmm.
for 10 years, by the
Mm-hmm.
way. So this, I think, was the first time where I started talking with myself. I mean, that I realized that I needed some reflection, internal analysis, deep analysis of what is going on, because I couldn't understand. I was like, what's going on? I don't know what's going on with me. I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
understand at that time that all this pressure and everything that happened. I was like summarizing everything
Mm-hmm.
at one moment,
Yeah.
and it was
And
a lot
and
of
and,
pressure.
and and in 2008, it wasn't so common to talk about anxiety.
Yeah. I mean, people could not understand. Some people say, "Ah, come on," and other people like, "Man, what's happening with you?" Because everyone knows me, and I'm a talkative person. You know, I'm like that. I'm trying to be happy no matter what's happening. But at that time, I was very quiet. I was another person. So I think this was the first time, and I had very bad thoughts almost all the time. And at the time, of course, I couldn't understand. And my mom had that. My mom has some health issues. I don't know how you call it, bipolar in English, but
Bipolar, I think.
so I couldn't understand depression. People being depressed, but at that time I felt, and then I started to understand. It's something that nowadays I think we talk about that, we understand more that it's a
Mm-hmm.
serious problem, right?
It's
Uh,
beyond the willpower of the person,
yes,
right?
yes. You cannot do anything. You can, even if you want. Sometimes you just want to stay.
Yeah, it's not a wanting stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it was a very bad situation. I mean, I also have thoughts like about doing bad stuffs. Right? Like
Mm-hmm.
at some point, I was thinking, okay, man, if this will continue, I prefer not to live. You understand? I was 80 years old, man.
Yeah.
So I was like, come on, I was a nice kid, right? I
Mm-hmm.
had a good life. If you
Okay.
look to the reality of Brazil, I had a good life, right? Not
Yeah.
like I was not like spoiled, but I had a good life. I had a family, I had friends, I had my parents, even with
Mm-hmm.
all the difficulties. And then I started to think I preferred to stop living than living like this. But one thing very important is I asked for help, because
Yeah.
I saw I could not pass this situation alone. It's
Mm-hmm.
really
No,
it's really
we
overwhelming.
need help in this
Yeah,
situation.
I asked for help, and one thing, I didn't want to take medicine. Never. I said no. I won't take any medicine. I just took once when I had like a crisis, but then never. I understand, and I have people in my family with the problem of like taking pills, medicine, because you start to get used to that, and then you get addicted. So I said no, I cannot have something to sleep or something to be calm. I have to go to the cause, right, to the root cause of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I started this process, and it's a tough process. Like I was visiting the psychologist for 10 years. So this time I had this conversation with myself. I started to thinking, what should I do now, right? And why is it happening with me? You start to think like that. Why me, right? Why is happening to me? Come on, why? I just want to live up my life and to have pleasure doing stuff, but you couldn't. At that time, you couldn't. So I started to think about, like, what can I do to change this situation, and what can I learn from it. So this was the first time, and it changed my whole life. I stopped having this feeling or these thoughts. I started to plan stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I started to have control of my life, and I stopped living the life just like letting let it go.
I think controls is strong. Maybe management.
Yes, correct. Yeah, correct. But because you cannot control a lot of stuff, but you need to be the owner, right? So you need to be the person
Yeah.
that do stuff, right? And you plan and you do. So of course,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it does not go right
Mm-hmm.
how you want, but You
Yeah.
tried. This was something that I was carrying like for a long time. The crisis and that point, that terrible thing
The
happened.
bottom.
Yes, the bottom, right?
Mm-hmm.
But after a few years, I could feel like the fear of feeling that again.
Mm-hmm.
And this is terrible. Until today, sometimes I feel like, oh, and something that you have to understand. Just going back to the question, this is the most honest conversation that I had, and it was like, uh, it's on me. I need to change, right? I
Mm-hmm.
need to change first. I need to understand what's happening and where is the problem, right? After that, I need to try to change to fix this. How can I change my thoughts to avoid this happening in the future?
Mm-hmm.
And why this happened with me now? So I started to take actions, right, with my life. So if today I look behind, I see this as the best thing that happened to me. You see, like I turned the way I looked to it, and now I'm very grateful to having that episode because it
Mm-hmm.
changed my life, and now I'm so much more grateful, and I see things in a way that I could not see before. Now I'm the manager of my life, so I started growing a lot from
Mm-hmm.
this bad experience, and I think the question uh, is totally related because at this time I started to talk with myself, and in a very honest way, like I started to hear myself, I started to read about, I started to understand, so I
Mm-hmm.
started to ask help, and then I listed like several activities, right? I started working with my spirituality, right? And reading about religions, reading about a lot of stuff like a purpose in your life and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You want to avoid, right? You don't want to get in touch with the pain. And
But it's easier to do it with
yeah,
psychological help, right? Because
yeah, yeah.
their life goal is to help people to do it. My wife is a psychologist, so
Oh, really? Cool.
I know how it's important for her. You
The,
did 10 years of Freudian analysis, and you have never laid down on the couch.
no, never.
That's the best part for me,
Really? No,
because
no.
in the beginning I have uh, difficulty to talk deep stuff looking at the person.
Ah, okay. No, I think that's it. Now let me
Hmm.
ask you, man.
Okay,
So for you, man, what was the toughest and most honest conversation you've had with yourself, and what did you say?
okay. I think my life is so easier than yours, and I don't think anything was so tough to be the toughest.
Mm-hmm.
But I have some hard inner conversations. This year, for example, 2021, I completed 1 year of therapy, and I was having a hard time to accomplish some things because I was having a lot of rage
Yeah, I know.
outbursts, and I was doing it with the only person I have, right? It's my wife, and the least person that
Yeah.
deserves it. I went to a psychiatrist to see if I need some medicine. I know exactly what to do, but I need something to make me stop to think.
Mm-hmm.
I was being too impulsive. And it was a little hard because you don't want to have medicine,
Yeah,
right?
sure. Yeah, yeah.
Like
I
you said.
I understand you 100%.
Yeah, and I'm not an anxious person. My mother had panic attack, for example, and my wife is anxious. She has a generalized anxiety something. He had medicine for some time, but I don't have it. I'm calm, but I hold things and explode,
Yeah, I know.
you know? And then talking with my wife, she explained to me that this is a sign of depression as well. not everyone who is depressed is sad,
Yes, I understand.
you know.
Yeah.
And then I went to the psychiatrist and talking about everything that was happening. She said that I had a minor depression and that I could have fluoxetine to help me have this break before acting. I started using it 3 months ago.
Oh man.
And in the beginning, I had a huge placebo effect, positive.
Okay.
And then I was like, everything is wonderful, right?
Okay.
But so I went really high and then I went really down, you know. I felt bad in the second week. And then I became apathetic. You know, I was like
Yeah, yeah, I know.
ups and downs.
Yeah.
And then I started to settle. In the beginning, it was funny because my wife spoke something, and I look at her and I said, "If it wasn't the medicine, I would scream with you now, but I won't." You know, because I
Yeah,
was really aware of what to do, but I couldn't do without the
yeah,
medicine. So the
I see.
medicine really helped me. And I had the second appointment, and she said, "Oh, you are great. You just need to be 10 months with the medicine to make the
Okay.
shift of genes in the neurons." So in my math,
Mm-hmm.
in Christmas I can stop. I can begin stopping. It was far from difficult, from your difficulty, you
No,
know,
man.
but it was difficult because everything always was really easy for me. I don't have anything to blame around it. But I had to say to myself, you are not able to do it
That's the
alone.
important thing, right? Yeah,
You need outer help. And it's
yeah.
really difficult because I'm a really
Proud.
proud person.
Yeah, I understand.
You know?
Yeah, yeah.
And but it was great. And nowadays we are really better. We are
Oh,
doing couple therapy.
nice, nice.
We didn't fight a lot, but we need someone to mediate some
Yes.
questions. And now we are talking about having a child and stuff. So it's
Cool,
okay.
man. Cool, cool. That's nice to hear. Yeah. Sometimes we need this break, right? To
Yeah.
analyze, to understand, and someone to help. Otherwise, we are so confused with everything at the same time, and we
Yeah.
need sometimes to, and
No, a year ago
breathe. And,
I was thinking to cheat on her or go away
yeah,
because I was crazy. My work before the pandemic, I was always traveling. We are a little far from each other, and when we
yeah,
were together, sometimes we fight. And I met a lot of women. I've never cheated on her, but
yeah. I understand.
it would have been easy,
Yeah, yeah. I
and
see.
she would never know, right? So.
Of course, being locked at home 24 hours a day with the person, and no matter who the person is, right? No
Mhm.
matter if it's your wife, your brother, if it's your dad, it's your mom, no matter, you
Mhm.
will have problems. That's the only thing that we know. Uh, you need the social life, right? We are humans, and we are
Mhm.
made to live in a society, right? And when you lose it,
Yeah.
we did not evolve yet to be 100% virtual relations, right?
And we have a last question. How was this experience for you?
I think it was quite nice.
Yeah.
uh, it's cool to talk about experience, right?
Yeah.
And it's cool also to meet a new person. So nice to meet you, man. I
Nice
think,
to meet
yeah,
you.
I think it was quite nice at the
Yeah, I think we
beginning.
can keep in touch and
uh,
talk in Portuguese next
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah, sure, for sure. And for you, what do you think?
I think it was nice as well. I think your self-conversation was tougher than mine.
Ah, come on, no, there's no tougher
And
in this area, man.
no, yeah, I
Everything
think
is tough.
I believe in God as well. So God puts this kind of thing in our lives because we
Yes,
can handle it.
I agree with you. Yeah, there's no pain greater than yours, right? It's
That's
something
true.
that I learned with my dad, and he tells me, right, don't judge other people's pain, right? Because you don't feel it, right? So do not
That's true.
judge. So every pain is the worst pain that you can feel, right? And to me,
Mhm.
that experience is also about that. I think I learned a lot from you. That's the
I,
good
I
part.
I want to keep in touch.
Yeah, sure, man. I share with you my contacts. When I go to Tijuca again, hopefully we can meet, right?
Okay. We can drink together there.
Okay, man.
I got
It
your
was
number.
great talking to you. Nice to meet you.
See you. Nice to meet you.
Have a nice weekend, man. Bye.
You too. Bye bye.